sorted. That is how the judge described the evidence presented in court today as the bombshells in Bruce Lehrmann's defamation case keep on coming.
Any more bombshells to drop today, Taylor? Have you discovered any other documents?
Former Channel 7 producer Taylor Auerbach returning to the witness box for a second day.
Lightning struck twice in the court today, Taylor.
Any regrets about your testimony?
So, what do we know? Today, a $750 invoice from Lehrmann to Channel 7, labelled pre-production expenses, which Auerbach claims was a code for cocaine and sex workers.
He indicated to me he needed to replenish his bank account after the bender.
Auerbach said. Network 10 claiming in court that 7 spent in excess of $10,000 to pay for drugs and sex workers for Lehrmann.
It is so extraordinary. These are very grubby allegations being aired just for the purpose of securing an interview.
7 rejects the allegations. But what does this mean for the defamation case?
It certainly was distracting, but what the defamation case has sort of hinged on is the credibility of both Brittany Higgins and Bruce Lehrmann.
Which brings us to Auerbach's second accusation, that Lehrmann leaked confidential documents from his criminal trial to Channel 7.
Which could severely damage Lehrmann's credibility before Justice Lee. As he's previously said, I gave Channel 7 nothing, just my interview.
Today, Network 10 said Lehrmann handed Auerbach the documents, including thousands of Brittany Higgins' private text messages during a golf trip in Tasmania. While Auerbach claimed that during his criminal trial, Lehrmann told him
He appreciated the fact that I wasn't sitting with the rest of the feminazis in the press pack.
Auerbach's extraordinary evidence has delayed Judgment Day. But will it change what the judge decides?
10 News First reporter Alice Hogg was inside the court today. Alice, thank you for joining us. The judge described the evidence as sorted, so does that give us an insight into the thinking on his judgment?
Yeah, well, the judge did a few times today sort of mention what is all of this new evidence supposed to mean for the case and what is it supposed to mean for his ultimate judgment. Of course, we know that Justice Michael Lee was supposed to have already handed down his findings this week, but they were delayed after Channel 10 sought to urgently reopen its defence case and bring in Taylor Auerbach and his evidence today. The judge did at one point sort of caution that he didn't want to go too far down a rabbit hole here, and he sort of mentioned that while general credit issues are of course important in these matters, general credit can also only take a case so far.
Does that give us the sense that he may not even use all this evidence in his final judgment?
I guess it's worth the consideration. He's obviously reopened the case for a reason. He's allowed 2 more days of evidence to hear what Taylor Auerbach has had to say and the evidence and exhibits, I suppose, that he and Channel 10 have been able to provide. And then on the other side, the submissions of Lehrmann's team and what they say about all of these fresh claims. But again, we know that he did have a judgment ready to go. So I guess until we hear what he ultimately thinks about the matter, it's a bit hard to know exactly what he makes of all this new evidence and these fresh claims.
Well, Alice, Auerbach's motives have also been called into question. So does that mean his credibility is on the line here as well?
Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, Channel 10 has consistently targeted Bruce Lehrmann's credibility throughout this defamation trial, and they've brought in Taylor Auerbach and his evidence in the hope that that can further weaken, I suppose, Lehrmann's credibility too. But that's, of course, something that Bruce Lehrmann's team disputes. And Auerbach, when he was under cross-examination, was quizzed about whether he was here trying to do as much damage as he can to his former employer and former colleagues. That was an assertion that he rejected. But then today, Justice Lee himself did also sort of question the motivation for Auerbach in coming forward so recently.
Alice, do we know when the judgment will finally be handed down?
At this stage, there's no specific date set, but we know that Justice Lee is keen for a decision to be handed down pretty quickly, and so it is looking likely that next week we could finally receive a judgment. He did say that that would not happen on Monday or Tuesday, as he has some other matters to attend to, but beyond that, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Alice, on a professional note, even when you're in court, are you aware that you're witnessing something really extraordinary?
Yeah, I think everyone who's been listening in on the proceedings, be it in the courtroom or on the YouTube link, appreciates the interest in this case and I suppose the magnitude of what judgment might be handed down. I know today when I looked at how many people were online, there were 17,000 people viewing the YouTube link at that point. I think it was yesterday there were about 25,000 at one point. So it is certainly a case that's garnering plenty of interest.
Absolutely huge interest. Thank you so much for your time, Alice.
Thank you.